so we have Janse Van Rensburg, the chairman of Heavy Chef Foundation. Welcome to the Heavy Chef Show. You are very comfortable in this setting, seeing as you've been part of the Heavy Chef story for some time. I want to ask you the question, what is Heavy Chef Foundation?
Well, the Heavy Chef Foundation was set up in response to a need that we've seen within our own community of entrepreneurs to provide access to learning experiences for disconnected entrepreneurs. We've noticed that there's a number of entrepreneurs in our community that are big fans of Heavy Chef, that want to attend our events and our masterclasses and engage with us on various platforms. They just don't have the means to. So it made sense for us to set something up, not for profit purposes, but for the social impact of bridging that gap.
Sure. And now there's a series of projects that you're launching, and one of them we've been very privileged to now witness the survey, the survey that you've just launched, and it's been incredible in terms of the feedback that we've heard from people and so on. Can you talk a little bit about that and tell us why, well, first of all, what it is, and then why you initiated this as one of the first forays of Heavy Chef Foundation?
Yeah, the annual Heavy Chef Entrepreneur Education Survey is the first edition of what we hope to be many more to come. And it has a simple objective. It's to build a deeper understanding of how entrepreneurs learn, to understand their learning habits, to understand how they acquire knowledge and how they use knowledge and how they share knowledge. And our interest is, one, it's for us to understand it better as an organization involved in entrepreneur education. But I think we all know that the exponential demand for entrepreneurial skills and thinking that the world needs. In South Africa, we certainly need it. And so it makes sense to try and figure out, well, how are entrepreneurs made? Like, how do we shape them? How do we grow them? How do we invest in their capabilities? So that the whole country, I guess, can become more innovative, more self-empowered, and more entrepreneurial.
Can you tell us a little bit about the methodology that you deployed?
We used a mixed methodology, a combination of quantitative and qualitative, but that's research speak for stats and stories.
Nice.
And for us, the stats were important because we partnered with Yoko, payment specialist Yoko, and we spoke to a number of their entrepreneurs. We did a survey with them, and we've got a deep data set of across various categories and comparisons of data. But it's the stories that really color in the information. It gives us an understanding of the why we're seeing discrepancies in the data. So we thought that was important, and as Heavy Chef, we know that stats and knowledge can only tell you so much, but when you get stuck in and you listen to people's stories, that's where you really get to the nugget of the things that count.
Gotcha. And in terms of the nugget and getting to the nub of the research, what did you uncover? Was there anything that really kind of stood out for you, and any kind of startling insights, anything that really kind of made you stop and think, wow, this is incredible?
Yeah, I think the one thing that stood out for me is how entrepreneurs how they empower themselves to be always on learners. They have a high level of awareness of where to find knowledge and what knowledge to find and how to use that knowledge. But they do this on their own. And that's a positive thing, because by definition an entrepreneur is one of the misfits, so to speak.
Sure, the crazy ones.
The crazy ones, But at the same time, it is also an outcome of socioeconomic circumstances where a lot of the entrepreneurs that we studied are in fact isolated from the learning experiences. So they trust on Google, search and YouTube essentially, and they, on the one hand, and on the other hand, they trust their community of entrepreneurs where they live and stay and do their business.
So the closest proximity to them themselves. So if they're in Polokwane, then those are the guys who have experience within that location.
Right.
They would look to you and look up to you for advice.
And the research clearly shows that the entrepreneurs use online content to fill in the gaps, between their working hours and running their business and their family responsibilities, etc. Late at night, early mornings, they'll quickly use their phone to find what they need to learn. But as you say, it's the proximity to other entrepreneurs where they really start applying some of the learnings. They kind of stress tested with other entrepreneurs. The challenge, though, is that the data that we're seeing is that on average, entrepreneurs in informal communities, rural communities, have less than 3 other entrepreneurs in proximity to them to share knowledge with. Now you compare that to more affluent entrepreneurs who have an average of around 6 other entrepreneurs to bounce ideas off. So it is a case of that these guys are desperately looking for people to bounce ideas off and share learnings with, and the appetite is there, but there's just not pure number of pure share of volume of numbers. It's not enough around them to do that.
Sure. So it's the peers and the mentors that they're kind of lacking. I suppose that's a universal problem in disconnected areas, right? I want to know then, why is this survey important? What is the kind of outcome that you're looking over time? Because obviously you say it's an annual survey. What is the trajectory that you see for this?
I think the trajectory is just to understand what are the dynamics of the entrepreneur ecosystem and trying to figure out what are the best ways to channel or shape the learning initiatives, whether it's through formal channels, through government, through schools, or whether it's through informal channels, community-led organizations or entrepreneur specialists. I'd like to see all those things kind of just adjust and be sharper to be in line with the real world wants and needs of entrepreneurs.
So it's not just understanding how entrepreneurs learn, but also how we can be better at teaching entrepreneurs to be better entrepreneurs.
Yes, and we do view entrepreneurship in a broad lens. Although we studied business owners, entrepreneurs with actual businesses, we do feel that these learnings are relevant to anyone wanting to build an entrepreneurial culture or stimulate entrepreneur thinking. Because if we really want to innovate, if we want to solve many of the short-term as well as long-term challenges, you do need the skill sets that typically entrepreneurs show, the creative thinking, the problem-solving skill sets, the resilience that's there, the eye for a gap, for an opportunity. You need those things across the board, not just with business owners specifically.
Sure. So you have an insight now from this survey and from the results that you've now got a bird's eye view in terms of how to apply these lessons and programs and systems that you could instill into organizations or sectors whereby you could encourage people to be more entrepreneurial, innovative and progressive, I guess.
We've identified 3 communities essentially that can find value from this research.
Okay.
The one is obviously the business community. Businesses either speaking to other entrepreneurs as their customers, thinking about ways that they can empower them, add value to them as a business, but also an inward view there of looking towards their staff, the people within the organization, and how can we stimulate an entrepreneurial culture within the organization. The second group are the obvious ones, which are the educators, people who are in the business of teaching other entrepreneurs. They can certainly get insights in terms of how to sharpen their programs. And then the third one, which I think is vital, is policymakers. It is government, it is leaders in sectors, the people that create the enabling environment for entrepreneurs. I'd love to share those results with them. We are sharing those results with the likes of CEDA and a number of other organizations. But there's more of them that certainly would find value from the research.
And last question, how do people get hold of you in order to take advantage of this survey?
So the survey, the free report, is available on heavychef.com/surveys. you can find it there, and feel free to share that with whoever is interested.
Sure.
We do have a fuller version with more nuanced insights, with deeper analysis and expanded data that we do use as a funding mechanism to fund the activities of the foundation. All of that can be reached through getting in touch with myself. Email is probably best, louis@heavychef.com.
Sure.
LOUIS. And but heavychef.com/surveys, that's easiest, or find us on the socials.
Gotcha. Thank you, and well done, Louis.
Thank you, Fred.